Rocky Mountain music fills my memory. Rocky Mountain music.
Hello and welcome to the Denver and Rio Grande Western Iron Horse Route. My name is Brian. It's good to have you here. If you haven't already, I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe and click the bell icon so you can be alerted to future uploads. Now settle in for today's video next.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Brian coming to you on Saturday. Just got done with the first episode on the new TrackSmack channel. Things went well. If you did not get a chance to see that, I'll put a card towards the end of the video for you. Today is Saturday, and it's time for me to upload to you my second part in my July summer series. And Great Stuff Film has invariably hijacked the beginning of my July summer series, and it's done so because it's working so well with everything that I need it to over here with what I got going on. There are some important things we learned about Great Stuff Foam that I wanted to share with you before I proceed with the video. Number one, Great Stuff Foam does have a shiny skin that at some point is not tacky when the inside is still a little bit movable. If you get into trouble, watch your Great Stuff Foam because it expands to three times the original size at least. You must stay there. You must watch it. It is not set and forget. Also, you can buff the skin off of this with a Sandpaper 200 grit, thanks Bill, or a sanding block. You can buff the top of this prior to carving. Okay, what that does is when you come in and buff the top, then you carve it, you have surfaces on both sides that are ready to accept paint or glue. Now, I say that because this shiny surface does not like to accept glue or paint well. Now, in regard to the porous surface that you create on both sides, which makes perfect rocks for gluing in just like this one did. I cut this off that layout, making other rocks. All right, when you do that, you do need to put something on it and let it dry prior to painting and stuff, whether it be plaster of Paris if you're doing a creek bed or a road bed and you're going to be pouring water, or if you're just going to paint it, take a very diluted mixture of paint first, put it on there, let it dry. Once it's dry, it'll be ready to accept your artistic layered paint. Okay, both sides can work like that.
So we closed the last video out. I was just playing with the diorama. Basically now I am everything's set in it. The foam set on the plaster cardboard shredded mixture, and now I am actually just plotting out some lines and stuff for where I want the piece of track. I'm going to set a piece of track on this in a loco, and I'm just lining up that stuff now. I'm actually using the razor knife, and we're beginning to start cutting some rocks using the sanding block and the X-Acto knife for the finer areas. Use the sanding block to knock the edges and the skin off, and the X-Acto for the really precision stuff, the razor saw for the bigger stuff. Basically, as long as I quickly and I'm not paying much attention, as long as I cut the skin off, I can make some good looking rocks out of that stuff without a whole lot of effort. Basically, the less I try, the better rocks they look. Just a little example kind of where I'm going with this guy. Sanding block on the actual layout, scuffing it, knocking the skin off. This will help. The skin is very smooth, and glue and paint don't like to stick to that, so I scuff it, and that helps me get that skin off. I can also use this cheese grater as well to help to knock some of the little bumps and stuff down. And I've done some carving here up in the north of Arvada area, and we're just taking a look at that right now. That's not 100% happy with that, but it's all gets changed a lot. Now I'm cutting down into old cardboard and foam board and stuff that I had down a long time ago when the track used to run through there before I extended the table. And I'm cutting that out because there's where the river's coming through right there. The creek, South Boulder Creek's going to come straight through that area that I'm working on right now. And all I'm doing is blending and shaving the new foam to the old foam to get it as flat and consistent as I can, running down into what will be a nice creek bed. More just shaving and cutting. I put a lot of excess foam in there, so I had plenty of stuff to work with right down here where it's coming down into this turn. The creek's gonna turn left or north at this point, and so I put a lot of foam there so I could cut a lot out, which would give me a good berm and a bank for that area right there where the creek will turn. And a lot of times what I can do is I can lay that razor saw, or whatever you call that, I can lay it flat with the area that I'm trying to match with, and then just kind of, if you can see, I just kind of I lay the back of it down when I can and just let it glide across. And I can get a pretty level cut that way, as level as I need to simulate ground and rock and an approaching rocky Flatiron area. Here's a quick peek at the pour that I did with the deep pour water from Woodland Scenics on my water basin. It came out awesome. It really did. It shows the experiment with the plaster and paper towel worked as well. I did get some debris in there, but that's because it's messy out here and I'm doing a lot of work. I'm probably just going to try to maybe do a thin pour over that. So we've got everything shaved out. We've got things sanded pretty good. We will probably go back to this and back to this and back to this many times until we are more happy, such as this. Here's a prime example. I thought I was done, and here I am back, and I've been back since. So lots of fine tuning, lots of shaving. Don't even have the X-Acto knife in my view of anywhere, because I'm not using that now at all. That is way down the road when I get to fine tuning rocks and stuff like that. All I'm going for now is a general shape, and when I get the general shape down, then at that point I will be using a plaster, PVA, Mod Podge, isopropyl mix with paper towels and newspapers, etc., to lay the creek bed, and I will be getting that taken care of in the next episode. I'll be laying down the plaster of Paris kind of mixture to simulate a creek bed, and that will be doing that for the purpose of, one thing I have found is that Great Stuff foam is porous, and the Woodland Scenics deep pour water will soak through it if I don't give it a proper bed or base to sit on. I have a problem that I've been aware of that I'm going to be approaching soon and reaching out for help. As you can see, my riverbed area is on a grade, and so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to deal with pour and runoff and all that stuff coming up. I'm going to be reaching out to you guys for some help and some suggestions on that, because my river is coming down a pretty significant grade, and I feel like pretty much all my water is just going to run off, and I'm not sure exactly how modelers typically approach that. Here we are. This is going to be the final shot for today. I am done to some point, to some extent. The shape is there. I can go from here. I can proceed with the plaster of Paris mixture. This is just showing you where South Boulder Creek will come out, down, and cut back left. As y'all can see, there is a grade there. It is coming downhill. My deep pour water is obviously going to run downhill, as water does, and I'm not sure how to approach the pouring of that as a result. Keep repeating myself, but that is a problem that I've got going on in my mind right now. I might have to do kind of some level type things and like little falls, and I'm not opposed to that at all.
I need one more thing from you. If you haven't already, I need you to click right here, or click here, or here, or here, anywhere to stick around. Just stick around.